Welcome to Throwback Thursday, where we bring you a homeopathy hangout episode from our archives in case you missed it first time round. Because this episode may be a couple years old by the time you hear it as a throwback, some of the special offers, links, or content may not be valid anymore, so please keep this in mind when listening. You're always welcome to reach out to us at info@eugeniekruger.com. Enjoy the episode. As many of you will know by now, I recently opened a branch of the Centre for Homeopathic Education, or CHE, in Australia. CHE is a world-renowned homeopathic school that has been running for 30 years in the UK with thousands of graduates around the world. We had our first Australian intake in September, and our students are already commenting that they are loving the wide variety of lecturers, the high-quality learning platform, the fact they can do it all online yet still get that community feel by being in a close-knit cohort with regular live tutorials at a time that's suitable to our Australian and New Zealand time zones. Our next intake of students will be on the 1st of February with the option of a 2-year fast track, 4-year part-time or 1-year foundation course, and the flexibility to switch between those options if life throws you a curveball. So, if you're ready for an exciting career as a professional homeopath in Australia or New Zealand, then come along to the CHE Australia live virtual open day on Wednesday, 26 November at 4 p.m. Perth time, which is 6 p.m. in Brisbane, 6:30 in Adelaide, 7 p.m. in Melbourne and Sydney, and 9 p.m. in Auckland. I'll be joined by the founder of CHE, Marcus Fernandez, to ask any questions you may have, and you'll even have the chance to hear from past students about their experience. To book your spot, visit chehomeopathy.com.au. See you there. Today's guest is Ikram Manzoor from Pakistan. Now, if today's episode sounds a bit rushed, it's because we were on a very tight schedule time-wise. So Ikram was trying to share as much information as possible in a very short period of time. I always thought I can talk fast, but he definitely beats me. He knows how to pack a lot of valuable information into a very short period of time. So hold on to your hats. This is one seriously action-packed episode with a lot of information. You may need to listen to this a few times because he has really got a lot of value bombs in here. You can find him on Facebook or Instagram, or check out the show notes for his contact details. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the Homeopathy Hangout, where we discuss all things homeopathy from around the world. And now my mum and your host, Eugenie Kruger.
Hello, homies, and a very warm welcome to Homeopathy Hangouts. Today, we get to speak with Ikram Manzoor from Pakistan. Welcome, Ikram.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much of you for inviting me in your podcast. I'm so excited about that. We just talked live, and thank you so much.
For our listeners, this is a funny one because me and Ikram have been trying to catch up for like several months now. Finally got you on, but I've got somebody booked straight after. So we're going to do this on the fly. We haven't even had a post-recording chat and see what happens. Hey, Ikram, we'll go do it on the fly, see what comes out of this.
Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit, how did you first discover homeopathy?
Basically, I started my practice back in 2016, pure homeopathy. I was just graduated in homeopathy in the year of 2014. And then I just started my clinical practice in 2016. My father is also homeopath. My sister is also homeopath. We are just a family homeopath. Even my grandfather was a herbalist, basically. So you can see that we are just like going forward in the same field. First, I started practice, and I see there's so much thing that I should cover because the world is full of the diseases that we are just facing now, like the diabetes, the hypertension, the thyroid-related problem, the autoimmune disease, the autism, Asperger syndrome, PEMDAS, and so many problems, the dementia and Alzheimer. So I was like studying the cured cases of the famous stalwarts, the famous classical homeopaths of their time. And I found that, okay, I have to see that on which basis they just cured the case. If I'm just like reading the case, and another homeopath is also reading the same case, so he will see that, okay, that doctor just suggested one remedy. That person will start reading that remedy or the mathematics of that remedy. But when I'm just like studying the case, so I'm not looking that, okay, this remedy was just used in this case. I'm just thinking about that on which basis the case was solved. So my main aim was to explore the basis of prescribing, the basis of that prescribing on which the case was cured. So far, I have found in my clinical practice as well as by my own research and study that any case that is just resolved in homeopathy was basically derived on the following basis. These are the following 5 or 6 bases of prescribing on which majority of cases were just solved. The first basis definitely the miasm. As you better know about the miasm, mostly people don't know about miasm, but here I'm just like going to simply tell you about the miasm. Miasm is nothing but it is actually the blockage. The blockage mean that there's something stuck behind a disease. We have to address that blockage, so automatically our disease was just cured. Let me give you an example. Like I know that there's so many people just coming to my clinic having severe body itch and a different arm. I cannot figure out that okay, the body itch is specifically on shoulder pain or elbows or any the knees pain. When I take the history and I found that 2 or 3 years before the person was like that person was suffered from the typhoid. The typhoid is very common in my country. I know that. So what I do basically, I start or I open up my case with typhoidinium, the nosure prepared from the typhoid. So when I add that blockage, and after that, I didn't use a different remedy. I'm telling you in acronym which I call the BRAM, BRAM. So B can be Bryonia, Balasperinus, R can be Ruta, Rustox, A can be Arnica, M can be magnesium phos. So that is the way that I deal with case as per the symptom. Then, so this is the way that I mostly see the miasm in almost every disease. Whatever the disease you will give me the name, I will tell you about the miasm behind it. Like you see the allergy. So behind 90 to 95% allergy cases, the tubercular miasm is responsible for that. So tubercular miasm means that there was some in the ancestral history of the patient has suffered from the tuberculosis. Either the person knows or not, but we are just like addressing the thing. The second basis or the basis of prescribing that I mostly consider is purely causation. And causation is basically has two types. The first type is definitely the acute cause, and the second is past personal and family history. So that is the thing that I'm also linked with the miasm. So at the same time, you can also consider the miasm as well as the past personal and family history. Let me give an example. Like I know, like one of the person just texted me and he just tell me that okay, Dr. Trump, I have a severe pain in my like abdomen around the navel, and I'm feeling this since last night. So I just asked that how it's all started. So he told me that last night he was just in party and he just eat some rice with chickpeas or beans or something. I don't know what exactly. So there was so many remedy for abdominal itch or for pain, for colicky pain, like colocin, magnesium phos, diascoria, chamomilla, nux vomica. But I used a totally different remedy, the tellurium. Now, if you see that tellurium, why I use tellurium? Because I have to antidote that rice, and the antidote of rice is tellurium. If you just study the tellurium from the Mathematics of William Borick, so you will see that the intolerance of rice is found in that remedy. So the person was suffering from the rice, and I just antidoted that rice. I didn't deal with the pain. I didn't use colocin, magnesium phos, caramella. I'm not saying that these are not the remedy for that, but I'm saying that I found that cause behind the case, and that cause was very acute cause, and that was just because of the rice eating. So I antidoted the rice. Another thing that I must say that most of the female, like I know that there was large population just using the cosmetic, the cream for their skin, and the cosmetic companies basically put some mercury in that creams. So when someone have severe type of acne or some eruption on the cheeks or on the face, and then they contact me, so then first I take the complete case from it, and I found that why it's happened. If someone say that okay, it was just started after that cream or that cosmetic product, so the principal remedy for acne that is due to heavy makeup, so that is Bovista. But along with Bovista, I'm using Haperself. Now you can ask why I'm using Haperself, because Haperself is the antidote of mercury.
Oh, I've never heard of this way of prescribing. I
Yeah.
like it.
Same case, I'm just coming toward the
Ah,
past personal history. So I found any disease in past personal history, then I use the disease specific nosode. The disease
I
specific
like that.
nosode means that if someone have just suffered from the TB, so I'm using tuberculonium in case the throat and the upper respiratory is affected, and bacillinium if the lower respiratory tract is infected.
Ah,
If I found that okay, someone has SIBO. SIBO is small intestine benign overgrowth. That is a problem basically. So I mostly use the carcinosin plus bacillinium for open up the case because it addresses that disease specifically. Similarly, there were so many disease. I'm not saying that like basically we have two miasm, two types of miasm. The one is classical miasm, which is called the sura, syphilis, and psychosis, and for which already you know that for sura we have sulfur and soranum.
mm,
For psychosis we have madurinum tuya,
mm,
and for syphilis we have cephalinum or metallicum and marxal.
mm,
But what if someone have some disease in past? So why not to antidote or just switch off the off-target antibodies of that disease by using their appropriate nosode? So
mm,
that is the way I'm going practice. The third thing I'm just coming toward is the first thing was miasm, the second thing was causation, and the third thing is a constitution and temperament. Now, constitution and temperament, that is very interesting thing. Believe me, there were so many homeopaths that are just working purely on constitution and temperament of a disease. If you just want to correct the constitution of anyone, you have to know about the remedies that have purely constitution nature. So
mm,
for studying constitution of the remedy, I will suggest to study the Allen keynotes by H.C. Allen. Allen do nothing, but it's actually describe the constitution of each and every remedy in a very clear way. If I'm saying that someone have like lipidemia
mm.
and all his life, so I mostly consider the calc carb. The calc carb is a remedy that describe the whole. Calc carb stands for F5, 40, fatty, fairy, 50, flyby. Yeah. So yeah, that is the way I mostly remember the thing. Like someone have lycopodium. The lycopodium belly will be like
Mm,
apple-like belly at the port belly. So we can consider the lycopodium for that. If someone is, I must say that the sulfur, so sulfur person will have some dusky face, some like all his secretion will be some offensiveness. So that is the
mm,
constitution of the remedy. And
mm,
you can easily study the constitution by studying the essence of Matra Medica by George Vitalkis, the Allen keynotes, the soul of remedy by Rajan Sankaran. So he
mm,
described the whole theme and the whole constitution of the person. Now, the next thing is the temperament. The temperament, basically the temperature or the sensitivity toward something. If someone have very really like cold, some really like hot, some is
mm,
wet and dry. Let me give an example. If someone really like the hot thing, so for hot, if problem just worse from hot, so we'll consider sulfur, serenum, and these remedy. If someone just let the really like the hot thing, so we have a magnesium phos, lycopodium, China. These people really like to take coffee and tea and all these hot things, hot foods. Yeah.
mm,
If someone really like averse from the cold thing, so we have remedy tuberculonium, arsenicum album, calcarb, hypersulf, econite. All these remedy just comes under. These are basically the cold remedy, the
mm,
silica. Similarly, we have dry remedy, and dry remedy if someone have very dry by constitution, all his secretion very dry. So we have bryonia,
mm,
petroleum, natriumur. These are the remedy that I just use side by side.
mm.
If someone have just worse from the wet or like from dampness, so we have tuya, natrium sulf, delcamara,
Welcome.
rustox. So these are the a few remedy that I'm just like telling you. So this is the temperament based prescribing.
Mm,
If I just found that okay, someone have some aversion or some have like toward these things, so then I use the appropriate remedy for that. Okay. So next thing, the first was miasm, second was causation, third was constitution temperament.
mm,
The fourth was sign and symptom, the systematic sign and symptom,
mm,
which mostly homeopaths call is the totality of symptom. So totality of symptom basically has further three types. The first is subjective, the second is objective, and third is pathological. Someone have a symptoms. So I found that okay, what symptom have more intense or more guiding symptoms, so that if the symptoms can only be felt by that person, so this is called subjective.
mm,
That's why most of the doctor nowadays just practice in a mind method or the algam cycle method, in which they just found the mental makeup of the patient, and
mm,
then they choose remedy according to that. So that is basically the subjective approach, the subjective symptom. The second is the objective symptom. Objective symptom cannot just only be felt by the patient, but it can also be observed, or it can also be investigated by the doctor. Like if I'm just like checking whether you have a temperature or not, so I will gauge it with the thermometer. If I'm just like gauging your high blood pressure, so I will treat with the sphygmomanometer. So that is basically the objective symptom. If someone have a pulse, I can put like a few fingers on the pulse and I can feel that pulse. The third thing is a pathological. Pathological is purely nothing but actually all the reports, which is just confirmed by laboratory findings, a scanning matters, MRI, CT scan, ultrasound, blah, 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 ECG and echo. So these are all just comes under the pathology base. Okay, the last one, the fifth one, the basis of prescribing I have seen, and that is basically modality. The modality mean that from which thing and from which time the person symptom just words are better. So if person has problem just words around 2 and 3 a.m. or 2 or 3 p.m. and he don't like cold, so the principal remedy for that is arsenicum album. If you study the modality of arsenicum album, so you will see that the 2 to 3 time is the ideal timing for arsenicum. All the problem of arsenicum album will be worse during this time. And that's why one day I just tried telling to one of my colleagues that person will die also between 2 to 3, because all the problem just worse from 2 to 3. If someone have cancer, if someone have any disease and he's suffering from that, and I found out, okay, that person as constitution by nature, as modality by nature, or all the symptoms by nature is arsenicum album. So I will use arsenicum album specifically on that time, like 2 to 3. Yeah.
So you take the client to take it at that time.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So lycopodium should take their remedies between 4 and 8 in the afternoon.
Lycopodium from 4 to 8, exactly.
Yeah, and sulfur at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly. 11 to 12 is the sulfur timings. And you can see that.
That's a good idea.
Open up the chapter of generalities in the Cant repertory and you will find that. I'm not sharing the new things. I'm not saying I have found something new.
Thought of giving a client the remedy at that time. That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. So that's why, like, I have gathered all the best of prescribing, and I found, and I just rearrange it, I refine it, and I'm just like practicing purely on these bases of prescribing. And so far, I'm so confident to telling you this, that I have dealt so many chronic cases, whatever the case, whatever the disease, you will give the name. I will simply gather all the information in my own design questionnaire. And then I found that, okay, I have to put them. Like if someone have a miasm, so I will put something under miasm headings, something under causation, something. And finally, I found the complete picture and I can able to prescribe. So for your information, I must say that I'm running basically 2 clinics in my locality, and one at morning, one at noon. And I have 100 plus patients in my clinic, and I can easily tell the patients of that. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. I'm so knackered this week, Ikram, because I had 25 clients this week. I'm so tired. You've got 100 a day.
Yeah, because I have just converted all my practice in a process base. I have three assistant who first take all the case of the patient and then they send towards me. Then I already see the history and then I found and I prescribe quickly. If I have some question, then I ask from the client or the patient, and then they tell me. So that's all the way that I'm going to practice, and that's all the way that I'm just like getting the things done inside the homeopathy. Believe me, homeopathy is a blessing. If someone just really embarrasses, I think this life is short for homeopathy. I must say, homeopathy is the very diverse. It's an ocean. I'm still consider myself as an below than average diver of homeopathy. I'm not saying that I just master the thing. I'm still like doing research. I'm still doing studying different stuffs and materials. I'm exploring new remedies. I'm just like making strategies and protocol for day-to-day the common diseases like the AIDS, HIV, COVID. Okay.
Yeah, we can say it. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's all the thing that I'm just doing, and I'm sure, I'm so confident that I have seen so many success in that. And I'm not saying that I'm just alone. If I found that, okay, my brother is a pharmacist, my sister is microbiology, my father also. So we then all sat together I put them, okay, we have this question, we have this case, and how to crack the case. So that tell me the different thing.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I seen some failure and start of my clinical practice in some allergy and skin cases. So then I found, and it's asked from my father and my brother and all this, my family basically. My father told me that if someone eating yeast, yeast, yeast
Yes,
in his
yeah.
find their food, so that person will possibly become the allergic patient. So that's why when I ask the patient that whether the patient is just like taking something like the bakery item, the confectionery item, the sweets, the things in which already they have poured some yeast. So yeast is responsible for creating some symptoms like itching in nose and throat itching, pain in abdomen, and some rectal itching in children's basically. Sweets craving.
Yes,
Yeah.
say again.
Exactly, sweets craving, sweets carbs, like the craving for carbs. Let me tell me about the case. I found that one of the person was diabetic, and he just came to my clinic, and his son was actually also a paramedic, was a paramedic in a hospital. So he told me, the doctor, my father is a lawyer by profession, and his diabetes was completely controlled, but he actually craves for carbohydrates or carbs, and he eating so much sweet thing, even at night, like about 12 to 1, when all we were just like sleeping. So my father just secretly just open the door of refrigerator and just put some pastries and cakes and just start eating that. So I say, oh, I see. So that is the thing that, okay, we have a remedy, some remedies for reducing that craving, and then we will antidote that sweets. So for antidoting that sweets or carbs that the person was like so far already eaten that, the remedy was natrum phos 30C and saccharum off, which is made from sugar cane.
Sugar.
Yeah. So I use these remedies to antidote the already carbs taken like food. I really like to practice. I like open my case from the CM. So I start using, yeah. So the thyroidinium CM I used in that case, and believe me, because I just know about that why someone really craves for carb. That is basically triggered from the thyroid. So we have to use the thyroidinium for that. I use the thyroidinium CM, and the next day, the person was just calling me, Dr. Trump, I don't know what happened with me. Like I'm looking toward the cake and pastry, but I have no craving for anything. And he was already taking the natron fast. And believe me, in only 15 to 16 days, his HbA1c dropped from 10.5 to 6.8 in only 15 days.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah. So that is the way that if you are just practicing technically, if you are just understanding the very basic etiology, the pathophysiology of disease, so then you can really enjoying the practice. If you don't know, and if you become the blind, and if you are reading and only memorizing the proving symptoms that is already in Matrimedica, and you are not understanding the basic theme of the remedy, so then like it's just like you just missed in somewhere. So that is the way that I mostly practice, and I hope that you get a lot of things from it.
It's funny because we only had half an hour to squeeze this in, but you have just put so much information into half an hour. My mind is blown. That was amazing, Ikram. That was so interesting. How can our listeners get hold of you? And have you published any books here, or is there a way that we can read more about this way that you prescribe?
Thank you so much for asking this question. Basically, I'm working on my book, which will be published very soon, in which I have written all the things, the disease specific strategies. There were so many remedies, they're just coming in your mind. I'm telling you that what you suggest for the fright, fear, and phobia. So you will see that, okay, I'm using Econite and Arsenicum album camel, like different remedy. But I'm just like studying all the remedies together, and then I make my own strategy. So if I found any case of fear, fright, and phobia, I start my case from opium. And I'm using opium because of some reason, and that reason is purely pathological, a pathophysiological reason. By the way, academically, I'm a biochemist. I just did my MS in biochemistry along with master in public health. And like I'm not only homeopath, I'm also biochemist by academic. So profession by profession, I'm a homeopath, and by academic, I'm a biochemist. So I see the biochemistry behind every disease.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
So that is the way. The book is also coming. Another thing that I have some sweet friend, some very close friend that will touch with me virtually. And I have a small paid group on Facebook by name of Virtual Academy of Homeopathy. And I deliver on weekly basis one session or one Zoom based session, which is already recorded. And I then shared my PPT and PDF lecture with all the members. So far, like I have started this group in previous month, like this September. So in 1st of September, I have started this group. And so far, I have delivered about 6 and 7 lectures in that group. And on every week, I'm just delivering a session or delivering a lecture. And then I share that lecture slides and PPT with the members, and then they can ask any question in the video, also in comment section or via email or messenger.
Oh, cool.
So
Is
that
that something anyone can join?
yeah, any can enjoy.
Oh,
Exactly.
make sure we put it in the show notes. So if people want to join, they
Yeah,
can check the show notes for the link.
yeah. I will send you the link and a complete information about it. How can you join? And that's very easy. A few steps only. But I just gathered, okay, there was so many people just coming randomly in your group. So that's why I have to put some criteria
Yeah,
that
I
only
agree.
would allow who really want to learn, who really want to discuss, to learn, to treat, and to heal. So that's the main thing. I have my co-admin named Mary Margaret Donner from North Carolina, US. She's also with me, and we together just running this group. And so
No.
far, everything just going wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, Ikram, it was lovely to chat with you. Every week I check my statistics of the podcast, and we do have some listeners in Pakistan as well. The Pakistan listeners are starting to creep up, and I always think, oh, I wonder who are these people in Pakistan listening to the podcast. Oh, it was really fun to chat with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
And I am excited to go and join your Facebook group and learn from you, because you have got some really cool ideas. That thyroidinum CM with
thank,
an NatFos and Sakaram, that's very cool. I've got a few clients with severe sugar and carb cravings. I'm definitely going to test that out.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. So if you have any other question or if you want to say anything, so feel free to ask me. I'm here. Today is Friday, and Friday is off for my clinic. So I'm just
Okay. Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Ikram. Have a great day.